Morning guys, so here we go. 7,753 miles on the clock. It's been going really well. We're at 30% at the minute, and I'm just going to go and show you a couple of little tips and tricks that I've found, a cool feature, and then just chat through some charging bits and bobs that I've kind of found out whilst I've been out and about over the last few weeks. So catch you in a minute. Right then guys, so I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. I'm down to 29%, and I've got 3 chargers in the locality of where I'm at the moment. One of them's an Osprey, one of them's an InstaVolt, and then one of them's an Ionity. And I really want to just sort the Ionity out because I'm going out a little bit later on, but I just wanted to kind of just see these other 2. So this Osprey's a 50 kilowatt, the Ionity is 120 kilowatt, and the InstaVolt's 120 kilowatt, and the Ionity is 350, and I've seen up to 222 kilowatts on that one. So I'm just going to give it 10% and see how long it takes on these 2, and then compare it to how fast it is on the other one, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect whilst you're out and about supercharging or charging on public networks, because the inconsistency is unbelievable. So let's see. So 15 degrees, 29%, and I've been driving pretty conservatively just, so 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. So let me just show you how easy it is, and or how hard it is, depending on whether this actually works. Let's find out. Right, so this one, I'm going to be using my electric juice card. So with Octopus Energy, electric juice takes it straight off your bill, or your house bill. So let's see if it works. So it should be a fairly painless process. So here we go, 50 kilowatts DC fast charging card, touch it, quick as that. Select your connector, so we want the CCS, plug it in. Press start. That was it, that easy. So let's go back to the car and see what it's actually given us. So I said I'm just going to give it 10%. So let's just see what happens. So it says it started. Just waiting for the clicking noises. There we go. And it's ramping up. What will we get? So this is a 50 kilowatt. 15 degrees, remember. Will we get 50 out of it? Come on, one more. So what I'll do is I'll fast forward through this bit, give it 10%, and then we will see how much it all costs and how long it takes. Right, so there we have it, 10%. It looks like it's added 22 miles. So we'll stop it, and then we'll go to the next one. So sometimes with these, you have to use your card to touch it and stop it. Sometimes you just touch it and it stops. So yeah, so because we used this last time, select it. So we've been here 10 minutes. We've put nearly 9 kilowatt hours in, and I'm going to press stop. It says 52, that's a lie, only got it to 49. So let's go unplug and go to the next one. Oh, right, okay. Right, so hopefully this time it's going to work. Bit of a kerfuffle with that one, because because you have to pay for it. I wasn't using the app, I just used my card. So it takes £30 off you as an authorisation fee. So we'll see how much that is. So where are we? 40%, it's up to 62. Don't forget, this is a 120 kilowatt charger, and we're seeing 62. Let's see if it goes up. Again, I'm just going to do 10%. See how long it takes, see how much it charges. Right, so that was quicker. 10% added. Running at 98 kilowatts. Didn't see any more than 120. I think it just touched on 120, that was it. Let's see what the data says. So to stop, please tap your card. Right, hang on, let me watch. So that's a good security feature, that you need the same card to stop it. It stops people from stopping it on your behalf. See that? And how much does that all cost? So 66p a kilowatt hour, same price as the other one. That costs £5. So that's really odd. Right, let's try and work that one out in a minute. Right, so here's the problem with the UK charging infrastructure. So I went to an Osprey, that was 50 kilowatts. I got a max of 49. I added 22 miles and it cost me £6. I then went to an InstaVolt, which is 120. There was one car already there, so I managed to get the spare slot. I touched 120, that took 6 minutes, added 23 miles, and only cost £5.12, which is a bit odd. So I've come to the Ionity, and it's full, and there's people waiting. That one's been broke for weeks, and they've not bothered to fix it. And there's a lot of Ionities here today, actually, which is nice to see. There's 2 more over there. So we've got 5 charging, looks like 2 are about to leave maybe, and 2 people waiting. So I don't really need to charge, and I'm only doing a test, so let's see what happens in the next few minutes. But this is kind of part of the problem. So now this one's quite close to the motorway, so people are going to start using it a lot more. It's quite expensive, but if you've got a deal, an app, the Charge MyHyundai or Bonnet app or something like that, it makes it a bit cheaper. But the advantage here as well is that the people don't stay here for that long. If I needed to stay and charge on the Osprey, I'd have had to have been there for an hour. So imagine sitting and waiting for an hour before you can charge for an hour. It's just a nightmare. So yeah, this is part of the problem really, is that there's just kind of a lot more vehicles, a lot more people, and not enough chargers. So it actually cleared up quite quickly, so I decided to stop for a bit. So I'm going to push this one past 80%, because something weird happens at 80% in this car, and you might experience it yourself. But again, weird. So this is a 250 kilowatt charger. I've had 220 out of this charger before, and it's been hovering around the 90 mark. Now it's starting to kind of edge its way up a bit, so we'll see what it gets up to. So I decided to stay and wait, and it's really, really busy here at the moment. But let's give it a go and see what happens. I only need to go up to about 80%, but I'm going to take it to 90 because something weird happens in this car, and I don't know if anybody else has experienced it. So you might not know and see it unless you start watching it. But when this gets to 80%, it kind of drops off a cliff completely, and it heads down. I've seen it low as 4 kilowatts. So at that point, you kind of think, oh, that's it, I'm giving it up, I'm going. But if you just wait just a couple of minutes, it decides, recalibrates, and goes back up again. And it dashes back up to about 200, not for very long, because it does start to taper off again, because that's what the curve's all about. But don't be fooled into thinking that once it hits 80 that it's gone. So we'll see what happens today. So I'm on 66 at the minute. 6 minutes left till 80. Far quicker than the other two. However, I've touched 120 on the InstaVolt, and I'd expect to see this to be a lot faster. But that's probably because it's really busy and all the cabinets are full. And again, still one of the ones here is broke. It's been broke for about a month now. And you just kind of wonder when they're going to start to get these fixed, because this is part of the infrastructure problem. Today is probably one of the busiest days. Kids are going back to university. It's last weekend. Obviously it's the bank holiday weekend as well. I've just been told the motorway's rammed, so people are obviously taking the opportunity to pop in and have a brew and kind of charge up and stuff. So you'd expect the infrastructure to be better, but at the minute it isn't. And I mean, as daft as it sounds, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 IONIQ 5s here now, which is good because that means that people are starting to get their cars. But as they get their cars and start to use these chargers, and probably some people have still got the discount through the Ionity subscription, through Charge MyHyundai, these types of chargers are just going to start to get busier and busier. So let's see what happens. Let's see how long these others take. Hopefully they won't be a long. Obviously, if it starts to get busy, I'll go. I'm not going to block the charger just for doing videos and stuff. I've got enough now to get through my day, but as long as there's no one that's sitting waiting, then I'll see if we can see what happens when it gets to 8%. But right, let's see what happens. Back in a bit. So here we go. It's stopping at 123 or thereabouts, and I kind of fully expected it to have dropped off at 80%, but for some reason on this occasion it didn't. So it's not a bad thing. Maybe it was just a glitch. I've seen it a couple of times, but no more than that really. So I'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully I'll be able to get it on video next time. But if anybody else has seen it, please just drop me a message in the comments just to see what you've experienced, and how it kind of worked for you, whether you switched it off and walked away from it, or whether you just left it to see what happened. But this is exactly what I'd expect to see on the charging curve. Gets to 80% and starts to slow down, so that's roughly when you kind of think about pulling the plug and off you go, depending on whether you needed a full charge to get to your next stop. So on this occasion it wasn't too bad. Then we saw a few other people turn up, so I pulled off and went and let them charge up. And this is the cool feature. So I don't know if everybody else sees this, but you press the button on the opposite side of the handle and it locks your car. Who knew?